Studying at the University of Santa Croce in Rome allows us to be in the heart of the church, where we can study where things actually happened. This is Via Appia, one of the most important roads in Rome. Starting from the south, the port of Brindisi reached the capital of the empire.
By this way, St. Paul arrived in Rome, coming from Caesarea after disembarking at Pozzuoli near Naples, where he was welcomed by the Christian community of the city, where he stayed for a week.
Let us remember that Paul came to Rome to be judged because he appealed to Caesar as a Roman citizen when Jews wanted to judge him.
Truly then, a community of Christians from Rome marched 50 kilometers south to welcome him at the Stazio of the Three Tabernae, and they have accompanied him until he reached Rome.
In the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 28, it says, "Upon seeing them, Paul gave thanks to God and he took courage." He knew that the Christian community already had deep roots in the city.
And then what did he do until he was judged?
He stayed a couple of years in Rome. Come with me, let me show you.
Questa chiesa si chiama San Paolo alla Regula e si trova in uno degli antichi quartieri ebraici della città di Roma. Il nome Regula viene da renula, ovvero la fita sabbia portata dal fiume Tevere nelle sponde, a pochi metri da dove ci troviamo.
This place was filled with warehouses and industrial activities connected to the river, such as the manufacturing of the tents and candles, an activity of which it seems that St. Paul was an expert.
Una chiesa del IV secolo avrebbe ripreso la tradizione secondo la quale San Paolo sarebbe vissuto qui e dove anche lui avrebbe scritto alcune delle sue lettere, come quelle ai Filippesi, ai Colossesi, agli Efesini e a Filemone.
This current church is dated in the 17th century.
Ma questo non è l'unico posto. Venite con me alla Via del Corso. Questa area è oggi una delle principali arterie commerciali della città di Roma e secondo un'altra tradizione San Paolo sarebbe vissuto il suo arresto domiciliare proprio qui.
This is what he says in the Acts of the Apostles. When he entered Rome, Paul was allowed to live by himself with the soldier who was guarding him.
Qui si trovava un portico del I secolo d.C. che fiancheggiava la Via Flaminia, una delle strade più importanti della Roma imperiale.
In the 5th century, this place was transformed into a commercial space, a deaconry, that means an oratory dedicated to serving the poor.
Qui sotto si conserva una colonna che, secondo la tradizione, è dove anche San Paolo è stato legato.
Below this 16th century church dedicated to San Giuseppe dei Falegnami, there is one of the main prisons of the ancient city, the Carcer Mamertino, from the 7th to the 8th century BC, which was used throughout the ancient history of Rome.
Era il carcere simbolo per i prigionieri più illustri della città. Si trova vicino al Foro Romano e alla Via Sacra, che conduceva al Tempio di Giove Capitolino, il più importante di Roma. La prigione era composta a 2 piani, con diverse celle scavate nella roccia.
The tradition points to this place as the prison that hosted the apostles Peter and Paul. Here, they would have miraculously brought forth a fountain of water with which they would have baptized the prison guards.
L'arrivo dei pellegrini cristiani in questo luogo è già attestato nel 314 d.C., quando il Papa Silvestro I vi fece costruire una chiesa dedicata a San Pietro in carcere.